By the way, this shirt is too little. I'm pretty sure like y'all realized I had a cute shirt and then like I couldn't find it. So I'm sorry. Welcome back to Philosophy Not Your Ordinary Pharmacy channel, and today I'm going to be doing a Q&A. I have Starbucks here. First of all, it is 8 p.m. and it's caffeinated, so that's great. But I just like worked an 8-hour shift, so I kind of needed coffee for this. But anyway, so let's get into this video. I have my computer right here. So Latch, I think that's how they say their name, and commented and said, what do you mean by residency in pharmacy school, and why do you want a residency afterwards? A residency is basically a postgraduate training program. This is not mandatory. You are not required to get a residency at this time. Some of my teachers have been saying they feel like by the time we graduate it's gonna be a requirement for us to get a residency, but at this moment it's not a requirement. So you go to pharmacy school for 4 years and then you graduate. You're a doctor, you're a PharmD, doctor of pharmacy, whatever you want to call it. You take your NAPLEX and you are a pharmacist. You can do that. Or you can get a residency. A residency can be 1 year or 2 years. So everybody's first year, regardless of if you want to go on to the second year, it's more of like a generalized training. It gives you exposure to like clinical scenarios. So like scenarios you'll see in the hospital, like if you want to work in the hospital. And then PGY2 is more of if you want to specialize in a certain area. If you're not in pharmacy school, I really don't think you understand, and I can't wait till you like realize this, because my mind is blown every single day at the amount of opportunities that you have after graduating pharmacy school. Like there's just so much stuff that you could do, like it's crazy. You could specialize in ambulatory care, you could do critical care, you could do pediatrics, you could do emergency medicine, you could do internal medicine, you could do geriatrics, you could do solid organ transplant, you could do nutrition support, oncology. Like there's so much stuff that you could do. So in pharmacy school, if you go through a class that you really enjoy, you should like consider getting a residency in that area. You should always do things that you're passionate about. Then the question was like, why do you want a residency afterwards? So I am still like, I don't know if I want one. I'm still thinking, but I'm one of those people who I'm always like, but what, I'm a what if person. I'm very indecisive as well. Having a residency kind of gets you the leg up if you want to work in like a hospital or something. I'm not saying you won't be able to work in one if you don't have a residency, because there are several people that I know who don't have a residency and work at a hospital. Like if you really want to work in a hospital, God will open the door for you. The theme of this whole channel basically is like, what God has for you is for you. I don't want y'all to be like so set on like, well, I want to work in a hospital so I have to get a residency, because it's not true. Like it's really not true. It makes you more competitive, yeah, it makes your application maybe look more attractive, but again, like if that's for you, then it's not going to happen. But what I'm saying is the reason why I was thinking about getting one is because, one, I think it would just be cool to specialize in something. Two, I don't want to regret not getting one. But I'm just like, I don't even know what I would get a residency in, because I'm so indecisive, and I haven't really done research. Like that's another thing, like you really have to research. If y'all want a whole video on residencies, I could do that, because this is like a huge topic, so just let me know. The next question, so Faith Brown asks, how much organic chemistry do you have to do now that you're in pharmacy school, and how much writing as in essays do you have to do? By the way, I love prescribers, it's cute. Thanks, girl. And she said also, how many hours do you have to study a day in order to do well in pharmacy school? Basically, this is 4 questions. So the first question, how much organic chemistry do you do now? So at my school, you do kind of use a good amount of organic. So cardiology, we had that last semester. We would like learn the drugs, learn the disease states, and then we would have a medicinal chemistry lecture. I don't know why I'm struggling to talk. During that lecture, they basically stress the SAR of the structure. The SAR is the structural something relationship. Like, I don't want to overwhelm you because it's really not hard. Or at least for me, like how they taught it to us, it wasn't hard. Basically, you're just identifying like what in the chemical structure makes the drug work, makes the drug do what it does. So I'm gonna give you an example. So like ACE inhibitors. So ACE inhibitors are basically for blood pressure. They can also be used for like other things, but I'm just gonna focus on like blood pressure because that's something like easy to follow along with. So ACE inhibitors is the class of drug, and then you have in the class the drugs are like lisinopril, enalapril, the prils, they end in pril. So in that particular class of drugs, the structure of the drugs are similar. They have like slight differences, like lisinopril may have something on its structure that enalapril doesn't, and that may make lisinopril a more effective drug. It's not like chemistry like perv EV equals nRT, like I don't know if y'all called it that, but we called it that. Like stuff like that is not that. I will say that you do need to know cis trans, you need to know that SR, you need to know that priority, like when you assign priorities to the molecules, like if it's clockwise then it's S, if it's counterclockwise then it's R, like stuff like that you need to know. But it's not gonna be anything crazy. It's really fun to me. Your functional groups, they may say you have this ethyl group over here or this carboxyl. You kind of need to know that terminology just to like understand what they're saying, but I don't think it's something that you cannot grasp. Like it's very doable. And then how much writing as in essays do you have to do? We don't really have essays. What we have, which I'm not the biggest fan of, is like reflections. Like we have like for certain classes like just a lot of reflections, but they're easy because you're just reflecting on what you did, and it's only like a paragraph that you have to write. Like it's nothing crazy. We had this one class where we would have to like read an article and reflect on it, and it had to be I think a page like front and back or something. It's super easy, double spaced, and again it's a reflection. Also, how many hours do you have to study a day in order to do well in pharmacy school? So you just kind of have to like dip your foot in the water and see for yourself. I remember in undergrad, like this one teacher was like impossible. Like everybody failed her exams, and she like had this chart like the first day of class, like saying you need to study 10 hours a day. By the end of the week, you need to have like 50 hours under your belt. First of all, 10 hours? No. And then that just kind of makes you feel like guilty if you didn't. I don't like that kind of stuff. I try to do like 4 hours a day. It doesn't happen. Like I'm not gonna like sit here and be like, I do 4 hours a day, like if you don't do it. Like no, it doesn't happen. In a perfect world, like would love to study every day, but it just doesn't happen. It's best to like break down your studying by time, because if you're like focused on subjects and you're like, when I'm done with this subject I'm gonna go to this subject, you're probably gonna spend too much time on that one subject, and then by the time you get to the next one it's gonna be like 1 in the morning, because you have to realize that you have a full day of class, and then you have to come home, cook or eat, shower, relax. Like literally take an hour or two to relax after class or whatever, and then study. And sometimes, like again, just being honest, like it doesn't happen, and that's okay. So yeah, I don't really think there's like a number that you have to do well in pharmacy school. I would just say be mindful of the things that you know and the things that you don't know. Don't spend time like studying stuff that you know. I know it makes you feel good because you're like, I know this, but what about the stuff you don't know? Like it really depends on you, and it also depends on when your exam is. Like the weeks that we don't have tests, I'm just kidding, but those weeks are honestly like harder to study on because it's just like, oh, like I can relax, blah blah blah. But that will get you in trouble because you'll be like so behind. But I wouldn't do any crazy hours or anything like that. But I think 4 is a safe number. How often can you just hang out with your friends and relax? So hanging out with friends, honestly, my best friend is in nursing school, so I feel like I could count on my hand the amount of times that we hung out. And then other friends, they were in pharmacy school, so we kind of all had the same schedule. I definitely think like it's really important to find time to relax after every single day. Every single day you should do that, because if you don't, you're going to snap. But as far as hanging out with friends, like first semester we like would always have like game nights, or we would all go to like one person's apartment or whatever and like have just like have fun with each other after the exam. And I mean, you can always just like set out certain days. Like sometimes every week I would say, okay, on this day I'm not going to study, I'm just going to chill. That's fine. Like, it's not going to kill you. Now don't do that the night before an exam, because that's, I mean, you can, but I would never do that. And also, like, a lot of people say, like, once you get into school, like, you're not going to have a life. Like, I don't think that's true. Like, last year I was living my best life. Like, you just have to be good with your time. Time management is like the key to pharmacy school. Hillary said, I got into the pharmacy program at UT. Congrats. I was just wondering if you had any tips or study materials I should be looking at now so I can get ahead of the curriculum. Is there anything I should start learning now? Someone emailed me earlier this summer and asked me this question. For this question, I basically told them that pharmacy school is very different from undergrad, or like it's very different from anything. So, well, you're going to UT, but I'm saying I don't want to tell you like, hey, look over biochemistry. Like, we had biochemistry for pharmacists. It's not the same as biochemistry you may have had in undergrad. They do a good job of reeling the information in and like making it pertain to pharmacy. I basically told the other person, relax. UT does a good job of easing you into the material, so you're not going to be like completely lost. And I was nervous. I thought that they were just gonna we were gonna go in there and they were gonna expect us to be knowing things. They know that you are first year students. They know that you don't know much about pharmacy, if anything. It's a really good school, but they change a lot, so it's kind of hard for me to like tell you what you need to know, because they may have changed something or something like that. What I'm trying to say, it's kind of like a foreign language. Like, they know that they're not going to throw you to the wolves. Now, as you go up in the curriculum, they do expect more of you. They expect you to have retained what you learn. I feel like that's a reasonable expectation. I mean, this is your career. Like, I'm not saying you have to remember everything, because Lord knows, like, I don't remember everything. I didn't study over the summer leading up to pharmacy school, and my first semester was fine. Now, one thing that I did tell them is, once y'all get registered and you get your syllabus, if you want to, I still don't really suggest it, because I'm just like a big relaxed person. I don't know, but once you get your syllabus and stuff like that, they will also upload like your class schedule and like the different lectures. So if you see something on there that you're like, hey, I remember that, like maybe I can review this or whatever. So yeah, that's basically my answer. I hope that helped you. I feel like it didn't, but yeah, if you want to talk more, like email me and I'll give you my number. Like, so yeah, just relax and just trust me when I say, like, I would not say this if it wasn't true. Now, as for me, since I'm like a second year now, I should be reviewing what I learned P1 year. Am I doing that? Not so much, but I'm gonna start because July is literally next week. So just don't stress yourself out. You're gonna be fine. They're gonna give you everything you need. They're gonna prepare you. I think it's Aisha Khalid, I'm so sorry, said, hey girl, I just came across your channel and I love how open you are about everything, and also love how relaxed you are despite the hardships and stress school gives you. Really admire the optimism you express. Thanks so much. I will say I'm not that like I guess I can be relaxed on this channel, but like y'all should see me like freaking out in real life. Like sometimes I'm not optimistic, but I mean, it doesn't help anyone. But that's not even her question. So you mentioned something about residency, but can you clarify everything about that, because I am slightly confused. Does everyone have to do a residency? Okay, so my first question, I answered this question. Again, no, everyone does not have to do a residency. Ray Bay said, hey girl, hey. Oh, and she's also going to UT, so what's up? How do you like commuting to school? How much time do you typically spend on campus? I am a local, and as of right now, I will be commuting to school. I stay about 45 minutes away from UT. I want to get involved in the different organizations as well, and I'm sure I'll be spending a lot of time in the downtown area, but I'm not going to want to keep going back and forth from home to school like that, and I don't want to just be on campus all day long. So I thought about getting an apartment downtown, but it's quite expensive in that area. I'm torn between commuting to school and wanting to live closer to campus. What are your thoughts? How do you like commuting to school? So I also live 40 to 45 minutes, sometimes an hour away from school. I lived in Mississippi, so I like driving. However, my car at the moment is not dependable at all. So, and I literally had this dilemma, like I was going to move out, things like that, So I vibe with this question so hard because I know what you're going through. If you have a dependable car, I would say save the money because you're already, school is expensive. But I would say save your money and commute. See how you like it. And then if you don't, then move. For me, I didn't like it because my car is not dependable at all, but I'm currently like working on getting a new car. Like the plan is to get one like before school starts, like, so it's going to be really soon. Again, I like driving, but when you're driving a car that literally could just quit out of nowhere or doesn't turn on, that's happened to me before many times, and you live so far from the school, it just kind of becomes a chore because you have to think, like, I feel like I get up way earlier than the majority of my classmates or people who live closer because you have to prepare for traffic, and even sometimes you will get up super early and still be late because wrecks, people can't drive. So that's one thing to be mindful of. Another thing to be mindful of is driving basically an hour there and an hour back. So basically a 2-hour drive every single day. It can wear down your car if it's not dependable. And gas. So like I would have to fill up my tank every single week, and it would be like $40. Like my tank, I don't know if I had a leak or something, but like my car just would not keep gas. So that's another thing. You don't have to move downtown because those apartments are ridiculous, the price. You can always move to, I don't know what to call this. Memphis is basically like a state. I don't know what to call this area of Memphis, but like Winchester or like somewhere that's like 30 minutes or 20 minutes out from the school. Like you don't have to move downtown. And I think that's like a misconception that a lot of people just move downtown because it's easy, they're right by the school, but you're paying an arm and a leg for rent. So that's something to think about. You could also move to like South Haven, Mississippi. South Haven is super close to downtown. Like I didn't know that until like where I work is 12 minutes from the school, and it's in Mississippi. So if you're really set on moving out, like I'm not knocking you moving out, because trust me girl, after I get this car, that's going to be my next goal. Maybe be open to like moving somewhere that's not downtown but still close, because again, those apartments, like I know, are ridiculous. Some people found really like good deals if you want to have a roommate. I don't do roommates, but if you want, you have options. 45 minutes, I want to get involved. Okay, so I'm in 3 different organizations, and the thing about organizations in pharmacy school is like they're not like undergrad. Like in these organizations, like everyone is in pharmacy school, so it's not like undergrad where like like in undergrad y'all would have like a lot of events, and then some people in the organization would be able to work like the event the entire day, and you're just like, what is your major? Like, how are you doing this? Or at least that's how I was. Well, pharmacy school, everybody's in pharmacy school, like everybody's busy, everybody needs to study. So you may think it's going to be like super intense, and it's really not. Organization meetings, and this person is going to UT, so I'm kind of like directly talking to her, but like the meetings are gonna be like usually during lunch. Like you all have the same lunch. We all have the same lunch. No matter what year you are, it's from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. And so your meetings will be during lunch. Lunch will be provided. The main thing like the organizations do are service events. Like they do other things, but it's not like to the point where you have to be on campus like all night. Like I don't think I ever stayed on campus for an event. It's not like that. So I wouldn't worry about like staying on campus, because you're not going to have to do that going back and forth from home to school. Okay, so like I feel you, because sometimes you will have like, this is very rare, but like sometimes a class will be canceled and it won't be like your first class, because when the first class gets canceled and you get to sleep in, yes, but sometimes it'll be like the second class, so you'll have a whole hour off. But you have to also keep in mind, like, you're gonna make friends. 9 times out of 10, one of your friends are gonna like have an apartment there. You can always go there with them, or you can always stay on campus and study. Like that's what I would do. Next question is by Tyriana Carter. We can apply before taking the PCAT. I'm studying for the PCAT now and plan to take it in September. Okay, so I made a whole video on like the application process to school. So like, actually no, the way you apply is through FarmCast, and like they have this whole, I guess, like checklist that you have to do. So like you can do your whole application, but you're still going to need to fill in like your PCAT score whenever you take it. But you can like fill out everything else if you want to. So I would just maybe watch that video and see if it helps you. Hopefully it does. But yeah, you can't actually I wouldn't recommend, I don't know if it allows you, but I wouldn't recommend you submitting your application until you have everything, just so like they don't have to hunt you down and be like, hey, do you have your PCAT score, or something like that. I'm pretty sure you know this, but some schools don't require the PCAT, so just, you know, be mindful of that whenever you're selecting the schools that you want to send your score to. Because I like started my application after I took the PCAT, so I'm not sure. I don't know if it will allow you, because the website like basically guides you with your application, so you can try. I would go ahead and just wait till you take it. Molly B asked, well, she said, your videos are so helpful. You give me a glimpse of what to expect when I start P1 year this August. First off, congrats on getting accepted. Also, thank you. And she said, what school supplies do you recommend / use the most? Thank you. Pens, and different colors too. So like pens, probably the #1 thing. Highlighters, notebooks, just those big 5-star notebooks. I didn't have binders. Some people did. I kind of cringe at the way that I was like organized, because it wouldn't be organized at all. But then like I think second semester I like bought folders and tried to put everything in the folders, and it still didn't work out. So as far as organization, like I'm probably not the person to ask, because y'all will probably cringe at how like I would literally just be like in the same notebook, like kinetics on one page, and then the next page cardiology. Like it wouldn't be like a whole like cardiology notebook and then this class notebook. It would just be jumbled together. Index cards, literally. You can always do Quizlets too. I just like index cards. I mean, I use both, but like I would still recommend index cards. A calculator, I think like that's probably a requirement, but you can only have like a certain type. I have mine over there, but I don't feel like getting it. Jarvis Cosrit said, excellent job, my beautiful friend. Congrats on becoming a P2. Currently I'm a P3 so far, so I agree with you, and that kinetics is a super hard class. Yes, it is. The kinetics final and exam 2 were very hard for me during my P2 year. My other hard classes were biochem, pharmaceutics, and calculations during my P1 year. But anyways, nice job in your journey, and if you ever need help or advice or anything, I'm always available. Aww. And see, look, I'm pretty sure that's he, but I don't want to like assume. But they said that they took kinetics their second year. So that's what I mean by like, it really depends on this, like your school. We took kinetics our first year. So yeah, every school is different, but you're going to be able to relate to like each other somehow. Sierra Motley, I think, emailed me and she said, hey, I follow your YouTube channel, wanted to know what was your first year like as far as scheduling days and times of classes. So hey Sierra, so I actually made a video, I'll put that up here, about my schedule. But basically, I'm trying to think, first year we had class every day, but like not every class started at 8 a.m. That video can probably tell you like better than I can right now. Second semester we started every day at 8 a.m. This upcoming semester I'll probably make a video of my schedule. Every day is at 8 a.m. and it also ends, most of them end at like 3, 4, or 5. I definitely think this year is going to be way more busy than last year, and I'm going to be working. So yeah. And then she also emailed and said, I am applying to UT for the fall of 2020. Girl, I hope you get in. And she said, you are so helpful. And she said, when available, could you give me a few points on my personal statement, etc. So personal statement, I think you're referring to like for your application. Don't overthink it. Basically express, why you're interested in pharmacy. You want to show that you're passionate about it. You want to show that you're going to do the work, in order to graduate. You want to show that you understand the difficulty of what you're getting into. I kind of added an anecdote in mine. Yeah, so don't be like, you don't have to be super like, hi, my name is Morgan and I am da 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 and I am da da, like make it interesting. Like I added a story into mine. Then you have to think like these people are reading hundreds of these applications, so what is something that's going to make yours stand out? Like make them want to keep reading. Be concise. They actually have a word limit on the application, so like it's not like you can write like a whole thesis or something. And basically let them know like why you would be an asset to their program, and you'll be straight. And with that being said, this is my Q&A video, so I hope this video really helped. If you guys want another Q&A video, then put your questions below, and then when I get enough questions, I'll make a second video. But I really enjoy answering your questions. I know I talk too much, I know, but I just want to help everyone like as much as I can. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you guys next time.